Chapter 1 test review, Algebra 2A. Let's do it. This says simplify, so we're just going to mash these together, multiply, negative 12AB plus, and we multiply these together, negative 6AB. Well, negative 12 bananas and a negative 6 bananas would give us a negative 18 bananas. Adding like terms, basically. Here we got to distribute, so negative 3x plus 27 minus 8x, and we look for like terms, so there we go, negative 11x plus 27. Same sort of deal here, but alphabetize your letters. That'll help you look for like terms later. So negative 18 CD, and we multiply here, plus, because the negative times the negative is positive, 24C. This is negative 6C. And don't forget the minus. Some people go add up, so they don't forget to distribute the negative 3, and then negative 21. Now we're looking for like terms, and here's a couple of like terms. The order in which you write your answer doesn't really matter. So plus 18C minus 21. On this next one, if you remember me talking about Mimi in class, this is just a bigger one. So we're going to go this way. Negative 8 divided by negative 4 is 2x squared, because a negative divided by negative is positive. Another negative divided by negative, so that'd be plus 3x. And then that would be minus 4. So that negative 4 just goes up into everything, and that's your answer. Pretty simple. Now we're getting into the problems where we actually have to solve. This one, we're going to subtract 9 from both sides per chunk, and then this comes down. Negative 1/7 f equals negative 21. We're going to multiply by this fraction's reciprocal. So that'd be negative 7. If you want to think of it as negative 7 over 1, you can. And then a negative times a negative is positive, and anything times its reciprocal is just 1. So we get 1f is, 2 negatives make a positive, and this would be 147. Well, number 6, distribute. 5d minus 15 equals 3d minus 15 plus 2d. Now I'm going to clean this side up. That'd be 5d minus 15 equals, now notice, if you're looking, this side equals this side. So any d I put in here is going to work. So I could say all real numbers right now, but a lot of students wouldn't notice that. They would just kind of keep going by maybe doing this. And then if you didn't notice this earlier, you would end up getting 0 equals 0. So the variable we're trying to solve for disappears, and we get a true mathematical statement. So if you remember, that means everything works, which means all real numbers, and we use that little symbol there. This one, distribute. So 9 plus 3g equals, same thing over here, 6 minus 3g. And now we're going to add 3g to this side, add 3g to this side, subtract 9. We're going to get our variables over on the left-hand side. So these cancel. This turns into 6g. These cancel. This turns into negative 3. So divide by 6. We get g is negative 1/2. Then over here, same thing. Distribute. 6y minus 15. That minus y just kind of tags along. Distribute. 5y minus 10. So I'm going to add these together. So I get 5y minus 15 equals 5y minus 10. Now, if you actually look at this, how could I subtract 15 from 5y and have it be perfectly balanced with 5y minus 10? This isn't looking good. This is probably a no solution. It is, but let's just keep going and act like we didn't notice that. So we're going to subtract 5y, add 15. These cancel. So I get 0 equals, and then this turns into 5, which is false, which takes us to the no solution. This one over here, what I recommended you guys to do is get rid of that fraction by multiplying by 5, because this would cross-reduce. I have to multiply that side by 5, and I'm just going to copy this top part down, but I'm also going to distribute that negative 3 through. So negative 3b plus 9 equals 35. Now I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides, but I'm going to clean this up. 2b equals, and that would be 26. Divide by 2, divide by 2, and I get 13. Moving along, you guys. So this says solve for h. Well, there's h, so I'm going to divide this side by L and W, but then I got to divide this side by L and W. See, these cancel. I end up with h equals V over L times W. Done. That's all you got to do for that. This says solve for x. There's going to be a little bit more work. So we're going to add c to both sides. So we get y plus c equals b over a x. Now, notice we have, this is representing a fraction. So how do you get rid of that? Remember, we want 1x equals some stuff. We got to make this a 1, so we're going to multiply by its reciprocal. See, these cancel and these cancel, so that takes us to our 1x. But then we have to do the same thing over here. We got to multiply by a over b. And of course, we're going to try to cross-reduce, but this is just a mess. There's nothing to cross-reduce. So you swoosh, you get ay plus ac over b, which maybe it says a times y plus c all over b. Either way is fine. And last one on this page, solve for g. So we got to get that alone, basically. So we're going to subtract 3h, subtract 3h. We get 3g equals a minus 3h. That's a minus. Divide by 3. Divide this whole thing by 3. We get g equals a over 3 minus, I guess I'm dividing it this way and this way. I'll talk about this in a minute. Minus h. That's one way of looking at it. Or you could have just left it right here. So just so you know, both of these are fine. This would be considered a little bit more reduced, but I don't really see how it is because it doesn't look any more simplified. All right, so now we're into story problems. Jake's weekly pay is 2/3 of Lizzie's. Now remember our rule. Call the second item X. And then, so Lizzie is X, Jake is going to be 2/3 of Lizzie's. Together, that means adding their amounts together, so 2/3 X plus X, they earned $655 per week. Define variables for Jake and Lizzie. We already did that. If we are trying to find out how much each of them make. So we already did that. There's number 13, right there. Number 14, write the equation relating to Jake and Lizzie's weekly pay. It's right there. And now it's basically saying to solve. So we're going to take this, and I know that's a 1 there. So really, I'm going to concentrate on these like terms over here. 1 and 2/3 x can be thought of as 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. So I'll do the work right here. 5/3 x equals 655. So I'm going to multiply that by the reciprocal, multiply that by the reciprocal, and I get x is, 5 goes into, that'd be 131, and times 3 would be 393. So remember, we set x equal to Lizzie, so Lizzie makes 393. Now it says together they make 655. So if we just took 655 and subtracted Lizzie's amount, 655 minus 393. So this is Lizzie's. And so Jake would be whatever this is, which is 262.